Got a riddle for you guys.
A riddle?
Okay?
Riddle
A
me
riddle.
timbers.
A riddle. I was asked this earlier. Gotta give a shout out to little Joe. What has lakes but no water, roads but no cars, and forests but no trees?
That would take a whole episode to just dive in there.
Say that again.
Lakes but no water, roads but no cars, forests but no trees. It's not a play on words, it's an actual thing.
The desert.
Alderaan.
A map. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's how we.
That wasn't terrible.
Have lakes? Does it
Yes, a
have
map has
forests?
lakes. Yes, on it.
Yeah,
Well, again, take it up with Joe then.
I will.
I will.
Aaron Donald says he'd be at peace with his career if no new deal is reached with the Rams. Dustin Johnson was included in the field to play in the first LIV Golf Invitational event, and we'll debate which new college football coach can lead their blue-blooded program to a national championship the quickest. I'm Jake Crane. It's Wednesday. Let's turn it up. It's Crane & Company. Growing up, I was always taught to apply pressure when I had leverage or strike while the iron's hot. All cliches aside, Rams defensive line savant Aaron Donald finds himself in that same position currently. He made waves before the Super Bowl win, saying that if the Rams did win the Super Bowl, he might hang it up after 8 years. But we've come to find out his plan all along was to play for 8 and then call it a day. But that Super Bowl win might have altered his course. Now look, Donald signed through the 2024 season, but he has no guaranteed money left on his contract. He's currently in talks to restructure that deal because he's worth way more than he's getting paid even right now. But if those talks go stale, then Donald said he has no problem walking away. So what does this all mean? It means Aaron has all the leverage, but there is one tiny spot where the Rams may be able to have a little room to work with. Now on this show, we always talk about fans of a team who finally win a championship now want championships that much more, because once you sippeth from the cup of victors, the thirst only increases. But that applies to players on the field as well. Donald finally got his ring with the Rams, and even he's admitted that has only increased his want for more. Now, if he was older, like Andrew Whitworth, it wouldn't have the same effect. But Donald's young enough to have a lot left in the tank. Can the Rams use that Super Bowl win to maybe get Donald for a little bit less? I doubt it. Donald knows the NFL is a business, and the organizations apply pressure on players when they have the leverage, so it's only smart business to do the same back to them when your opportunity arises. Now, I expect Donald to be back because I think the Rams have people making decisions whose brains are functioning properly. He truly is a dominant force in this sport, and if the Rams want to win another big one, he's a really big piece. But always remember, pressure creates diamonds, or in this case, greenbacks. I'm going to bring in David Cohn, my brother as well. Look, Aaron Donald is honestly one of the best, if not the best defensive lineman, especially interior defensive lineman, that I've seen. He's a huge part of what the Rams do. You build defenses from inside out. They are going to pay this man his money. But if you're Aaron Donald, you did just win a championship. Your plan supposedly all along was to play for 8 years. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. I just don't see a world in which the Rams decide not to pay him and which Aaron Donald doesn't want to go get at least one more.
Well, I do think he's the best defensive player in football. He might be the best player in football at this point. Look, if a team can say after 4 years of a 6-year contract that, you're not cutting the mustard and we don't want you to play for our team anymore, they can cut you, right? So if they can end a contract early, then a player can say, hey, I'm not going to play football anymore. I'm just going to retire if I'm not paid this X amount of money that I want. That's his prerogative. That's capitalism.
He's earned it.
That's capitalism, right? My thing is that's not really the way I go about my business, but then again, I'm not in a position to do $135 million over 6 years or whatever his last contract was. My thing, I put myself in the position of the general manager, Snead's shoes with the Rams, right? And I say, okay, if you have the money and he's an integral part of you winning back-to-back Super Bowls and you can pay him and it doesn't mess up the structure of what you have going on the roster, then you make that decision. But what if they go the Belichick route? And they move him.
Thanks for the memories.
Move him right now while there's still serviceable years on the contract. Move him to a team can't win a Super Bowl, right? Because that's what he really wants too. He said, I want to be with an organization that can win. Go ahead and get as much as you possibly can for him right now and build up take the Belichick route.
Well, do you think if you tried to get him to do that, he'd just say, well, I'm not going to, the Seahawks right now. I'll retire.
Fine.
Look, I can't believe this is even a conversation. Like, we're talking about Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
This isn't no normal player. This isn't even a great player. This is Aaron Donald. Maybe the best defensive player ever. Most dominant player ever. To my opinion, the best player on the Rams.
I don't think
most important player on the Rams. Matthew Stafford is great. Cooper Kupp is great. Aaron Donald is a one-of-one type of guy. In the 4 years since he signed his contract, all-pro first team all 4 years.
So what if
defensive player?
What if he asked for
defensive player 2 times?
What if he asked for $1 billion a year?
Well, obviously you can't pay him $1 billion.
Well, that's what I'm saying. At some point, it doesn't matter how good someone is; it's still a business on their side as well. There is a certain, but there. Well, that's what I'm saying. So what's reasonable? Like, is what he's demanding reasonable? Maybe the Rams will say no.
Well, he's not even the highest paid defensive lineman.
Okay.
Well, my thing
was he at the time when he signed his contract? That's the thing is he signed the 6-year contract.
I don't think so.
He signed for 6 years.
My thing is this. Aaron Donald, if you're going to say you're a smart businessman, which I know Aaron Donald is, and that you want to win, that you don't want to play if you don't have the opportunity to win at the highest level, you realize you can't overextend the organization. Not that you can't get more money than what you have, but I think you can play both sides of that fence and realize that if I ask for too much, I'm not going to get it. And if I do get it, it's going to put my team in a bad spot.
You think he's calculating that?
I think he is. I think he's smart enough. Not all players. I think Aaron Donald is not only a great football player, I think as far as it goes, well-rounded, understanding, having perspective. Again, he seems like a guy that always has a plan, that understands, this is what I want to do. If this happens, then this will happen. I think he's smart enough to realize I can ask for a certain amount of money. Because again, the conversations that him and his agent will have and the agent will have with the organization, even him with the organization, are going to revolve around what is the most we can do for you while not screwing the team over. And I think Aaron is mature enough and has perspective enough to go into it like that. Some guys don't. You look at Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers says, you're going to give me all the money that I asked for, or I'm just going to go do my podcast and hang out and go play golf. I think Aaron Donald is a little bit different in the mindsets of the two Aarons.
I think Aaron Donald should be the highest paid defensive lineman.
I don't think that's crazy to say at all.
I agree with that.
I think he deserves what he gets paid. I'm not saying this crazy number, obviously, but he deserves to be one of the highest paid players in the league.
Yes, I agree with that. But his excellence is only half of the equation, right?
For sure.
Because at some point it does matter, like, paying this guy, what does that do for the rest of our team?
That's exactly right. I just think I err on the side of, and I may be proven wrong. I don't know Aaron Donald personally, but just watching the way he goes about his business, I think he's probably got a pretty good idea of what he can ask for up to a certain threshold of what the team can do, and they'll go from there. Worst case scenario, he retires. They get him the money, open up some space, and just move on. It's so much better that you won the Super Bowl as opposed to getting so close. It makes this decision a little bit.
I think it is. I think it's easier for the team too. While you're saying that their fan base wants to re-up and win another one right away, that's true. You want to win it every year, but I think it gives them more leverage to say, you know what, we just provided our fan base with a Super Bowl championship. We could do something more drastic. Now, exact same conversation we had with the Braves and Freddie Freeman, because they won the World Series last year. I think they had more leverage to say, you know what, we'll let the face of the franchise leave our franchise. Back to the point on Aaron Donald, on them not moving Aaron Donald. That would be like they understand more about whether or not they could call a bluff right now on him retiring. They know more than we do. Like, he's saying to the public, I'm willing to walk away. They know from talking to other guys in the locker room, like, is he 50-50 on walking away? Which that says something too. If you have a guy, if you're trying to pay a guy, make him the highest paid defensive lineman in the league, do you really want to do that for a guy who's just like 50-50 on continuing to play? But you could almost call that bluff by saying, well, then we're going to trade you. If you don't sign for X, Y, or Z, we're going to trade you and get what we can and see if he's serious.
I think you can say that for probably 99.9% of the players in the NFL. But for Aaron Donald, I think that's okay. I think Aaron Donald can
to walk away.
Yeah, to walk away, and that's okay. It's Aaron Donald. Other guys, you should not do that. Aaron Donald can do that.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
That's why the conversation is so interesting. That's why we want to lead with it today, because it is somewhat nuanced. We're not talking about the second best corner on your team. We're talking about Aaron Donald, an elite player in the NFL. Blaine, what's the Booster Club saying?
BJPS09XU13. I just love doing that so much. He says, why would Donald agree to a contract with no guaranteed money for the last 2 years, and who is his agent?
There you go. Yeah. Well, again, the guaranteed money, if we get down to the nitty-gritty on the contract details, I'm talking about in general staying with the Rams, kind of the overall 50,000-foot view. You're going to have to put guaranteed money on.
Well, I think that's
contract.
the sticking point here is the final 2 years.
That's exactly right. They know that, but they know that.
No guarantee.
They know that. It's Aaron Donald. You're going to have to guarantee them his money. What did John Malkovich say in Rounders after he got beat? He cracks the word and looks at it and goes, pay that man his money.
That is a great film, but his agent should have gotten guaranted money. I think,
you're right.
6 years.
Aaron probably should be his own agent.
Yeah.
Probably do a great job.
Just pass rush the
I
organization.
don't know anything realistically that.
Like, well, he got through security pretty easy.
I listened to, man, just his pre-gaming, just the amount of
He warms
tape
up against
watches.
knives, dude.
It's just
Like this is a different level.
Nate Dogg says he's taking Nick Bosa over Aaron Donaldson, and my friend, you are crazy.
I like the Bosa family. That they've been a stalwart, kind of like the Watt family in the NFL on the defense line. But I'm taking Aaron Donald. I think you could put Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Chad Bosa, Trevor Bosa, Leonard Bosa, and Little T Bosa together, and it's not an Aaron Donald.
All of them?
All of them together.
Little T?
Little T Bosa.
I know Aaron
Tony.
can play anywhere in the D line, but he's mostly interior. You know how much harder, in my opinion, it is to play interior than on the edge.
It's pass rushing wise.
Oh.
That's what. Look, Aaron Donald's unbelievable against the run, but there's a lot of defensive line on the interior that are unbelievable against the run. That's why you play that position. His ability to pass rush from the interior changes the game because you don't have to be a geometrist to realize the fastest way to get between 2 points is a straight line. I line Aaron Donald up in the middle, and he's able to pass rush straight through that quarterback and collapse it from the inside out. It's a lot harder to get away from something on the inside out when you set the edge as opposed to the other way, the outside in. Because we see a lot of quarterbacks hurt defenses where when they scramble up through the pocket. Aaron Donald almost eliminates that, which takes a lot of pressure off the guys on the edge. Just don't lose contain, beat your man, go to work.
Love that. EB55 says, can you guys break down the Chicago Bears if you don't mind? Chicago teams never get too much love. Just curious on your thoughts on Justin Fields.
We were going to do the over-under for them.
Yep.
Should we pull up their schedule?
We can do that.
Let's go ahead and do it. I don't want to get too far into a preview because I want to make sure I can give you a full-throated one offensively and defensively. But if we're going to isolate it on Justin Fields, I think he has a chance to be really special. He's got all the tools. We can talk about athleticism, and he is a natural thrower of the ball. We get in this talk all the time about guys that, well, they can throw the deep ball really well, and they've got a huge arm. How are you in the intermediate game? How are you in the short game? Can you throw the bubble? There's a lot of guys that can throw the ball 70 yards that can't throw a bubble.
Last year, I feel like when it comes to Justin Fields, the game was sped up.
It was sped up, and it should be. He's new.
Exactly.
The coverages in the NFL, there's in-depth colleges in coverage.
For sure.
Or coverage in college. There's a bunch of in-depth, but there's also some teams that aren't super in-depth. In the NFL, there is no class. There is no recruiting. There is no, whatever on the periphery. It's football. You're in the building all day. So the coverages and the disguising of the coverages and understanding how to read leverage and understanding, seeing what the safeties are doing post-snap, it is sped up and it's more diverse. Yep. It's like going from reading, an I Spy book, there it is, to a Britannica encyclopedia and being asked.
Spanish to English.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
But I do feel like the game will slow down for him this year, and he does need help. Yeah, I mean, they don't have the best receivers in the NFL, not really a big name, and Hicks just got traded to the Bucks.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, what's the YouTube branch saying?
You want the schedule or you want a question?
You want to go? Let's go schedule real quick, then we'll go to the YouTube branch.
All right, we got 49ers week 1.
Okay, so where is it?
At home.
Okay. At home. This is Bears?
Yeah, this is Bears.
49ers week 1?
At home.
Loss.
At Packers week 2.
Loss.
The week 1 depends on if Debo
who's playing quarterback.
Run around. Then you got Texans week 3 at home.
Win.
You go 2 Giants.
Win.
You go 2 the Vikings.
Loss.
You have the Commanders at home.
Win.
Loss.
You go 2 Pats.
To the
Loss.
Packers?
Pats.
Oh, loss.
All right, you go 2 the Cowboys.
Loss. Loss.
Okay.
It's regular season. The Cowboys are fine.
Dolphins at home.
Loss.
I would say I might.
He's going to be
win.
pissed at me.
Lions at home.
Let me just put it this way. I don't have the Bears making the playoffs.
Yeah.
I got 5.
Lions at home.
Win.
At Falcons.
Win.
At Jets.
Win.
Packers at home.
Loss.
Eagles at home.
Loss.
Bills at home.
Loss.
Go to the Lions.
Win.
Another win.
You got the Vikings at home.
Loss.
Let's say if they could win one of those Vikings. You're
Not making the playoffs. I don't have making the playoffs.
8 or 9.
What do we got in the YouTube branch, Blaine?
Okay, I put a poll out earlier, and they're liking it, so I think we got some questions in here. All right, so let's go with Miguel Cabrera.
Wow, it's good to see you, Miguel.
Hey.
You want to do some
What
bad?
if Brian Kelly was holding Notre Dame back and is Freeman And do you think Freeman is able to win a national championship with Notre Dame?
I don't know how you could say the winningest coach of all time in the program's holding him back. That's a very optimistic view. If you're a Notre Dame fan, then I can understand that. Do I think Marcus Freeman's going to do really well? Yes. Do I think he'll have Notre Dame recruiting at an even higher level? Yes. But it is, when you become a head coach, it is very different. And I know he had the one-off bowl game. I get it. That's tough. I don't put that on him. And, you know, it's not starting off any easier with who you got to play early with Ohio State, I believe. So I think it was a good hire. I think Marcus will do well. But let's not sleep on what Brian Kelly did at Notre Dame, even though I was the first one when they made the playoff to get on here and make fun of him because I knew what was going to happen. There's a reason Brian Kelly came down to the SEC, and you're going to see why. But I don't think he was holding him back. I think, you know, as nasty as it was when he left, especially kind of the way he left a little bit, Notre Dame will be fine, but let's not sleep on Brian Kelly.
All right, Will Hewitt says Aaron Donald is the best at what he does, and he should be compensated for it.
I agree with that. Now, there's also levels to it. And like I said, I think he's a smart enough businessman to understand the team needs to be good and I need to get paid. Those two things go hand in hand. But
And one more thing on the Rams. If you had told me, you know, with three of their major pieces is Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, and Aaron Donald, if you had said one of these guys will think about retiring after winning the Super Bowl, I would say Matt Stafford, right? All of the productive years in Detroit, comes over, makes a huge move, wins a Super Bowl. Wouldn't be surprised if he retired after that. Instead, it was the other two guys who said we might leave the game.
That's exactly right. Sean McVay's the youngest of all three of them, I think, about with him and Matt. But no, it's going to be interesting to watch LA and kind of how they move going forward. But speaking about going forward, Cone, it's Wednesday. You know what that is.
5 big questions.
Hit 'em.
Dustin Johnson was listed in the field for the first event in the LIV Golf Invitational. How should the PGA Tour respond to this?
I'm gonna put it to you this way, and I told him this on the ride over here this morning. And I'll look right down the barrel of the camera and say this. The PGA Tour is in a little bit of trouble, in my opinion. Because we can talk about tradition, and we can talk about all the great stuff and all the memories, but regardless if it was 1901, 2001, or 3021, money talks. PGA Tour's got a lot of money. The Masters, the planes lined up on that tarmac are some of the richest people in the world, but they don't have the type money that this Saudi Tour has. This Saudi Tour has invisible money. It doesn't matter. They have as much money as anybody has money. And again, you had a lot of guys come out, including Dustin Johnson, when this happened. He even wrote a letter saying how great the PGA Tour is, how much he loves the sponsors. This is the best organization. He wants to play where the best players play. But then all of a sudden, you throw him that check, and Dustin's the highest, biggest name on the list. 13th in the world. You got Louis Oosthuizen. You got Taylor Gooch. Lee Westwood and Sergio Garcia, the older guys, I understand. This is like your way to go cash grab before they put you off to the pasture in the Champions Tour. But if they start grabbing young guys, because the PGA's got one shot at this discipline thing, and we know they've let Dustin Johnson get away with a lot off the field, off the course. I'm not going into that. They protect their stars in the PGA Tour. But this is a betrayal. And the PGA said they are going to have some sort of repercussion. Now, what that repercussion is, I don't know. But if I was the PGA, I would make it strong. There would be a strong repercussion where people would have to draw the line and say, I'm either with the PGA Tour or I'm going to go play in this one. But the minute they start grabbing some of the young guys, and I know Justin Thomas said he'd never do it, but Dustin said he'd never do it. I know Spieth and all them have said they wouldn't do it, but money talks. Lane Kiffin the other day for Ole Miss said, what about recruiting in NIL? It doesn't matter who the head coach is. It doesn't matter about the stadium. These kids are going to go where the money goes. You want to know why? Because human beings go where the money goes. And it still rings as true to this day. Money talks and BS walks.
I was surprised to see Dustin Johnson on this list, but I don't think the LIV Tour will have staying power. I think the PGA Tour will weather this storm, but they need to do this is why this was my get off my lawn about a month ago. They need to get their act together. You can't treat these guys like independent contractors, but then also want them to be part employees where they need to ask permission to go play in other events that are offering a $20 million prize. Get your act together. I don't know what all the solutions are that are needed, but one of them seems to be revenue sharing with TV rights.
Yep.
That seems to be a big area where there could be some gains for these guys more than just winning tournaments.
This is a feeler thing for me now. You're seeing that I think a lot of guys didn't go because they want to see the response.
Yep.
The response from the PGA and what it's going to be. And I agree with you, Jake. This has to be a hard
Like lifetime ban?
Maybe
Like Dustin
maybe
Johnson.
a year,
This
something.
year.
I mean,
Or you
can't
don't
on
play the next
PGA
major or
this year,
something.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of it, to me, has to do with legacy, right? I mean, you going to this, you know there's going to be repercussions. Dustin Johnson, you're already losing sponsorships. Already saw a couple go down today. You knew this was going to happen. At what point does this tarnish a legacy to know? Because at the end of the day, you play golf to be the best golfer ever, right? In any sport, you want to be the best at it. We're competitive in nature. We're humans. We're built like that. But could this tarnish your legacy of chasing those guys? That you know you'll probably never get to Jack or Tiger, but to be remembered in golf, I don't think if you go play in the Saudi Tour, as many as you win, you're not going to get remembered as being one of the best.
Well, again, Dustin's done stuff in the PGA Tour, too. If he hadn't won a major championship or something like that, I think it would be a little bit different. You're never catching Tiger or Jack. None of these people are. I don't think anybody's ever going to get close to it. Tiger's not even going to catch Jack. But how does it not help cement your legacy by maybe going and being the most dominant, the first kind of domino to affect the rest of the dominoes to come and help out the golfer as a player? That's what I want to see. But I do want to get this college football part on 5 big questions. But this Phil Mickelson thing is really interesting to me. Phil Mickelson really hurt himself. You literally insulted both groups of people when you look at it now. What he said about the PGA Tour and the way it goes down, the way he insulted the higher-ups there and the way it worked, you knew they were going to like that. But in the same breath, you're talking trash about the Saudi Tour. Now, you're not playing on either one of them. Phil Mickelson should have been the headliner on this list. We should be talking about Dustin Johnson as a secondary, wow, that was a big surprise, but Phil is the headliner on this list. Phil has alienated himself by running his mouth to somebody that he shouldn't have ran his mouth to, and that decision looks dumber and dumber by the day. Looks dumber and dumber by the day.
Well, we're going to keep tracking it, that's for sure. Last night on the ice, Avalanche and Oilers were in a shootout. Will this be the most goals scored in a game during this series?
I think so. I think so.
Yes or no, Blaine?
No.
We have some highlights here.
I don't. They could score more goals. I saw missed opportunities in this game. I did. This didn't surprise me. I'd hate to be a guy who took an under yesterday. Oh, wait, I am that guy.
Oh, you are that guy.
That is you.
At under 7.5, and I should have known. I mean, both these teams, I think the Avalanche are a great team. I think the Oilers are a great team, but both these teams offensively are phenomenal.
Well, and again, the goalies, Darcy, I love Darcy and goal for the Avs. He struggled a little bit last night. But the way, the pace of playing this game, the way the Avs play, they just overwhelm you with speed offensively. And the Avs are one of the few teams, they'll pass a little bit around the goal, but when they get a chance to take a shot, they're taking the shot. You can look, they're firing. They're not, kind of cute with it. I'm going to work it around. We're going to set it up. If I can see the goal, they're like the basketball team that if they can see the goal, is going to shoot the three.
I think I know they lost the game, but I think this plays more to the Oilers than the Avalanche.
Well, it showed again.
This game is on the road.
My boy Connor McDavid got one.
Yeah, this game was on the road. I think this pace favors the Oilers.
Guys, and let's not forget, before we get to college football, let's not forget that the Flames scored a lot of goals against the Oilers in the first game, and the Oilers scored a lot of goals in the first game. It was somewhat similar to this, and the Oilers were able to...
That was the only game they won, right?
That's exactly right.
That is true.
Remember, they scored 3 goals in like the first 25 seconds.
They scored 9. All right, you want to go to college football?
Let's get it. Let's get it.
We'll skip a few, and then we'll get back to those questions after the break. College football here. There are some blue-blooded programs with new head coaches. Who will win a national championship first? Miami, LSU, USC, Oregon, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, or Florida?
Okay, my answer, I want to make sure before I give this answer that I kind of explain something. When somebody asks you, or if you're in a debate with somebody about this question at work, at family gatherings, or whatever, you have to make sure they understand that it's not just about one thing. Everybody in this conversation tries to make it about one thing. What conference you're in and what type of players you can get and a couple other, ingredients in the recipe. It is about everything. And when I look at some of these schools, LSU and Brian Kelly, I think it's going to take him a little time to get used to the SEC. I think LSU will be fine. But when I look at Miami and Mario Cristobal, you're in the ACC, which we know Clemson's run for a while. Wake Forest is shown to be a problem. Van Dyke coming back from Miami is really, really big. And with Miami in the ACC, you have a chance to dominate that conference. You can win that conference. You can go undefeated and win that conference and give yourself a chance to get in the playoff. That checks one box. 2, do you have the ability to recruit the players up front to not only get to the playoff, but win the national championship? It is so much different. The reason Brian Kelly left Notre Dame to go to LSU is not because they couldn't make the playoff. They couldn't win it when they got there. He thinks the only way that he can get the style of linemen on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball to be able to actually win it once you get there is to be in the fray and in the jungle with the rest of the SEC teams, and that's how you do it. But Miami, if you think about it, is in the same region of the country. Miami is very, very attractive to young players because of the swag, the history. They can be physical. They can be as good up front as an SEC team. And Mario Cristobal is one of the best recruiters of offensive and defensive linemen in the country, and it's not even close. So if I'm looking at the aspects you have to win a national championship, not get to the playoff, like I said, but win a national championship. Can you get to your conference? Is it somewhat weak? Yes. Compared to the others, the ACC, I'd put them in that box. Can you recruit the type players up front that give you a chance to beat the Alabamas and Georgias over time? I think Mario can do that. And do you have the type system to be able to sustain a couple bad plays throughout the year to be able to get you out of games? Yes. With the blueprint that Mario Cristobal has, which he got from Saban, I think he checks all the boxes, and Miami is a place that you can flip really quick. USC, I know the Pac-12 isn't great. I don't worry about USC making the playoff right now with that roster, especially for the next 2-3 years. I worry about them getting there because I watched Lincoln Riley take Oklahoma there, and they didn't do it. They couldn't do it at Oklahoma. So why would I think he could do it at USC? That's my only thing. It is in an aggregate way, and I think Mario Cristobal and Miami will do it first.
I think from this list right here, Louisiana State will win the national championship first, and Brian Kelly. Look, while they play in the toughest conference and while they play in the toughest division, they're still going to get the best recruits. They can put a fence. He can put a fence around the state of Louisiana.
Yep.
And while I think USC, Miami, Oklahoma, and maybe even Notre Dame could all make the playoff before him, what Oklahoma and Notre Dame have shown us the last few years is making the playoff doesn't necessarily translate to winning the national championship, even if you're able to do it year after year. Now, Clemson was able to break through and get several of those, but I think that Louisiana State, and another thing, playing in the SEC West, you can lose a game and still win it all. Like Alabama has shown us that the last few years. So with some of these other conferences, while the conferences and the divisions are weaker, you almost have to run the table completely.
Yeah, and let me make this point too, Len, before you hop in. Let's not forget, Oklahoma and Texas going to the SEC has a boomerang effect for everybody. Why? They're having SEC coaches meetings right now, and they're talking about taking the divisions away, adding that 9th conference game in the conference. If you add a 9th conference game in the SEC, you are not going to see SEC teams playing these huge neutral site games against these top teams for much longer. I'm just telling you, because the excuse is already built in. We have a 9-game conference schedule. We just added Texas and Oklahoma. I'm already adding what would have been a non-conference huge game to my schedule. So that means Miami, you're probably not having to play Bama. And I know they set these schedules up 10 years in advance, but I think you're going to see some movement once this happens. So it may be something where Miami goes and, plays somebody outside of the SEC, maybe not the biggest name, wins, goes undefeated in the non-conference, then runs through the ACC. You got to get by Clemson. It just is what it is right now. You have a championship game. You can win it out. You have got to go undefeated in the ACC. I understand the Brian Kelly thing a lot. I understand people that say Venables. That's why this is such a great conversation, because other people think certain schools can hit certain aspects. I just look at Miami in aggregate, and I think they can do what Clemson did in a much more fertile ground, and really, to be honest with you, from a traditional perspective in college football, a much more attractive place to go to in the grand scheme of things.
No, I would agree. I would say LSU is my number one, just because it's LSU and just what they bring in, the talent they have going in and out of that door every year is just insane. I believe they have four.
And they won it with
They have 4 projected first round.
The last 3
first rounders this year. They're probably going to be a mediocre team in the SEC. But my second pick would probably be USC.
I would have those top 2 as well.
I would say USC and Lincoln Riley. 1, just the offensive system and just the attraction. 2, Lincoln Riley as an offensive player. And 1, NIL. NIL is huge, and they got money out there.
Yep.
They got money, and they will put
Miami's got money.
That is true, but I don't know if they got as much money as USC.
Probably not.
Yeah, but the resources there, it's just so new, it's fresh, and if they have success early and can somehow build together a good defense, because I'm never going to question the offense when it comes down to Lincoln Riley. His system's phenomenal. I think they could have a chance in a playoff to win a one-off game. I think they'll have the talent on offense.
With LSU, like you said, the last 3 head coaches have won national championships, and the guy you're bringing in is the winningest coach all time at Notre Dame.
Yeah, and let's not act like
I think it's more about LSU as a school than the head coach.
And let's not act like Edo and Les Miles were exactly Newt Rodney and Nick Saban. So, again,
Well, Nick Saban was one of them, too.
He was.
He started that.
LSU is like the
train.
Walmart. I mean, it could run on its own.
That's true. What's the Booster Club say, Lane? Because I know they probably got some thoughts on this. How many people are saying Oklahoma? Which I don't think is crazy to say.
Jack Doe says, I think Miami needs to get some experience. I feel like LSU has a good mix of new blood and vet college players to be dominant.
Van Dyke coming back is huge for Miami. I'm telling you, him and Jake Hand are the two most slept-on quarterbacks coming back this year.
Sister Rick says, I'd rather play in Florida than California, so Miami makes more sense. Texas Ed says, USC has a chance to overwhelm the Pac-12 through recruiting/NIL. What happens when they get to the playoff is a real question.
That's, again,
Same thing with Oklahoma.
we've ran this experiment. No more is it, can I get to the playoff? We saw Cincinnati make, I don't want to hear that crap anymore. You can get to the playoff. Can you win in the playoffs to win a national championship? And I'm not talking about just get to the national championship game. We saw Notre Dame get the national championship game against Bama and get shoved in the locker in front of everybody in school. So, again, that to me is the biggest.
Chip Turlington.
Chip Turlington.
Mr. Turlington says Miami suffers because of the off-campus stadium.
That is, I know they're trying to do some things, but Miami does need an on-campus stadium. But again, they've got a lot of money. I know they got some millionaires and billionaires, and even a couple gazillionaires trying to help them out. Look, just get Nevin Shapiro out of jail. Now he can. It's so funny. Turns out Nevin Shapiro was right. The booster who had the yacht, like all the players in the yacht, they were paying him. He wasn't a criminal. He was just forward-thinking. I mean, we made it legal.
More Stevens says, Southern California is still a recruiting hotbed, and USC will be the marquee with the NIL money.
It's money talks. I'm with you. I've seen Lincoln take teams there.
Alan Adams Jr. 22 says, questions for the guys. That's us. Another show that I will not name thinks that pro sports are more popular than college sports. Do we agree?
More popular, or in our opinion, like more fun?
He says more popular.
Well, 90% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Or 100% made up. So
better than college sports, though? No.
No. It's not better than... The NFL is the most popular sport in the United States, I believe. So, statistically, I guess you could say that.
Facto,
but if we put liquid paper on a bee, it died. But if you want to watch or listen to the rest of the show, head over to dailywire.com and become a member. YouTube branch, stay hot, or listen on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share it with all your friends and your enemies. We're going to be right back with some more great stuff. Every Wednesday, one of my favorite segments to watch is our 6'7" friend David Cohn over there, who has the soul of a 135-year-old, maybe 136, tells a certain segment of the sports world to get off his lawn. So, Cohn, who's getting off your lawn this week, big guy?
Today, I was planning on telling San Francisco Giants manager Gabe Kapler to get off my lawn. But over Memorial Day, I thought, why give 2 minutes of airtime to an ungrateful baseball manager when I could take that time to honor a true American hero? Special Agent Staff Sergeant Chester Jamichael McBride III was born on March 25th, 1985. His friends and family knew him as CJ, and I had the honor of playing football with Chester at Statesboro High School. CJ was a star football player, and he was a starting defensive back for a team that went 15-0 and won the state championship. He earned a bachelor's degree from Savannah State University and a master's degree from Valdosta State University. In 2008, he enlisted in the Air Force and served as a ground combat specialist and fire team leader with the 822nd Security Forces Squadron. After completing many missions in the Middle East, CJ returned home and had a job lined up with the FBI. Before taking that job, he volunteered himself for one final tour of duty. On December 21st, 2016, CJ heroically gave his life to save others in Afghanistan. He was among 6 who paid the ultimate sacrifice that day for our country. Ironically, Chester gave his life so that Americans could have the freedom to disrespect his sacrifice if they so choose. I choose not to. I choose to honor a great man, a great football player, a great friend, and a great American. As for Gabe Kapler, while you're sitting in the locker room by yourself and not coming out to support your team while the national anthem is playing, and you hear the Star-Spangled Banner echoing in every stadium you visit, if you ever find yourself wondering, what does a true hero look like? He looks like CJ.
That was really good.
Well done, Dave.
That was really good. Hey,
Well done.
I couldn't agree with you more. And again, we don't dive too far in these waters. Gabe Kapler, to me, you're virtue signaling. What you're doing helps nobody. You're trying to bring attention to yourself. Nobody really cares what Gabe Kapler thinks. How about y'all just try and get to the World Series or something like that with the Giants? But it's a joke to announce a protest right before Memorial Day for the Star-Spangled Banner. Like, what type of person does that? Then you have to walk it back. It just shows you there's a lot of people that are me people that think it's about them. And what you saying that you're not going to go out for the national anthem does nothing to help any of the parents of the kids in Uvalde. It does nothing. You make it about yourself, and you're a joke, and I will never cheer for the Giants as long as Gabe Kapler's there.
Well, when I heard him doing that, I thought, okay, this is going to be my get off my lawn next week. And then I thought, you know what? Again, like I said, why even give that man airtime when I could honor someone? I mean, I was able to play with CJ, and he was a phenomenal football player. And, it really hurt a lot of people in my hometown when he passed away, saving lives over there in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, why not tell his story? Why not share that?
Well, we don't. Yeah, we don't hear that. All you hear now is how everybody's a victim and it's so bad and it's horrible and it's terrible. Some people just have no idea. They want to make it about themselves because some people cannot achieve attention without being a victim, and that's one of the biggest problems we have. But I'm not going to dive too far into that. But again, Gabe Kapler has a right to do that. That's the reason that guys like CJ go and do those things. Mm-hmm. But I would much rather be a CJ than a Gabe. I promise you that. But let's, what's the Booster Club say, Mike? Because I want kind of get some kudos.
Getting a lot of USA chants in here.
Yeah.
A lot of USA chants which are deserved. Rad Dad says, preach it. Live for Truth says, amen. Buddy says, amazing cone, and Get Off My Lawn is now becoming one of his favorite segments, which is my favorite segment.
It's replacement cone's least favorite segment, but I think
either that or the head-to-heads, because I get to wear the wig and hold the gavel and get called Keanu Reeves for like 30 minutes. So
that was a good name for you, Keanu.
I like Judge Keanu Reeves.
Did you like that?
Yeah, that was good. Do we want to get the rest of those 5 big questions coming?
Yeah, well, look, we have the first game of the NBA Finals tomorrow, right? So I want to know, who will win Finals MVP?
All right, Blaine, who do you got?
Who will win Finals MVP? It's a tough question. I'm going to go the one who doesn't have it. Steph Curry.
That's the answer.
Yeah, Steph Curry, I think he finally gets someone. I feel like he plays good almost every game in this series. He shoots well every game in this series. I feel like a close second will be Klay Thompson.
Really?
I do.
You're going Splash Brothers all the way.
Look, I expect him to show up in the finals. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I expect Klay and Steph to show up in the biggest series of the year?
Yeah. A lot of people are going to pick that.
What Celtics player are you taking?
A lot of people are going to pick Jason Tatum. Just a smart pick. Go maybe a little bit underdog. Maybe a little outside the box. I may get outside, find the box, then go around the corner and find a box even more outside than that. I'm going to go Jaylen Brown.
Okay.
I just have a feeling we're going to be talking about Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum's going to have a great series. I got the Celtics winning it. I think they are going to try and stop Jason Tatum as much as possible, which is going to open the door a little bit. And one of the reasons why I don't think Steph has a Finals MVP is because even with Durant, they were trying to stop Steph more than anybody. Steph was getting doubled to open it up for somebody else. I think Jaylen Brown is going to be the guy that's going to have it opened up for him. And when Jaylen Brown, he doesn't just get hot when he gets hot. He gets, I'm going to close my eyes and can make every shot from every angle, falling backwards, falling forwards, falling left, falling right. Give me Jaylen Brown, NBA Finals MVP.
Well, he will go off for a game or two. The question is, can he play consistently enough throughout the series to win the MVP?
No, I don't think with Jason Tatum being right there, he's going to win MVP. I think he's going to have a good series. I don't think he'll be win MVP. I mean, Steph will get doubled, but the thing about the Warriors is this. You double Steph, who's open?
Yeah.
Klay. All right? You double Klay, who's open? Steph. You try to double them both, this kick at the Jordan Poole is shooting just as good as 3% percentage as both those guys. So who are you going to double? I understand you have to pick your poison, but the thing about it is with this, Wiggins, you can put Wiggins on Tatum and somewhat try to slow him down. All right? If anything, I mean, who are you going to put on Jaylen Brown? Draymond? Yeah. You're going to put Draymond? I believe in Draymond defensively. I believe in that game Draymond plays, especially with these younger guys in this big series. Mental games will get played, especially with Draymond Green, just like when Draymond and LeBron were going at it. LeBron got Draymond his final tee, and he got kicked and had to sit games. There will be mental gymnastics that need to get hurdled in this game, because I know Jaylen Brown, great player, can hit a bunch of shots on a bunch of different angles and can get hot. But not even one, but I know two guys that can do all that and get hotter, and that's Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
Well, they've been running around free. And again, look, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry are two of the best at creating space for shots that there is, and they don't stop. They don't get tired, especially Steph. He's just like a toy you wind up before the game and you just let it go. It just doesn't stop. But the Celtics make it hard to get through those screens. Yeah. It's not just about being fast against the Celtics. They're long. You have to be physical too. And I think when you start getting a little physical with Klay and Steph, that's the only way to slow them down. You're not going to stop them. This isn't a conversation about stopping Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. It's somewhat containing them, just like Giannis. You're not going to stop Giannis. You just have to keep Giannis from letting everybody else kill you as well, because you're so worried about Giannis.
I'm really interested on how this series will get called from a referee.
That's going to be huge.
I think that'll be huge.
Because if they let him play,
it goes towards the Celtics.
Yep.
All right, and can the Celtics stay healthy and endurance-wise run with the Warriors for 7 games?
Free throws as well. Free throws are going to be key as well.
Yep. So yesterday, Rafa Nadal beat Novak Djokovic in a 4-setter, quarterfinal match at the French Open at Roland Garros. And what I want to know is, he the greatest tennis player of all time?
I'm going to go Nadal. I'm going to say yes.
We won him over.
Well, at least, especially on clay, but that's obvious. Look, I love this dynamic of Nadal and Djokovic. I mean, we talked, about Federer, obviously, but Nadal, to me, if I had to pick a top, I'm going to go Nadal.
I love Rafa Nadal. Yesterday, I did not feel good about him winning this, though, even on clay, because a year ago, Djokovic beat Rafa at the French Open, and then they were both of them and Federer were tied at 20 majors apiece before this Australian Open, which Djokovic wasn't allowed to compete in. Okay, so Rafa was able to get to 21 majors and break that tie. I really thought Djokovic would come in here with a vengeance and be able to tie this thing up even on clay, but Rafa once again shows that he is king of clay, and I think that the road is set for him to get his 14th French Open title.
Yeah, Nadal right now is the GOAT to me. I'm just glad Jokic is playing. We're seeing clips. I mean, these guys, they're unbelievable. And everybody talks about the serves and how fast the serves are, and that's crazy. But to me, it's the volleys and the angles that these guys are able to not only get to the ball, but return the ball in a spot that puts somebody else in a disadvantageous situation. So again, it's amazing. The running, I get exhausted watching tennis. It makes me tired watching it.
First of all, clay is my favorite thing to play.
Slide.
And
glide.
Sliding around and getting to a wall. I love it. And look, at the end of the day, I love watching lefties do stuff when it comes to sports.
That's true.
I love watching lefties throw, a guy swing left-handed, golfing, hitting. It's just a little something silky smooth about it. I love. And Nadal's just a witch.
Nadal is right-handed, right?
Yeah. And his
Uncle Tony put it in the left hand.
As an ambidextrous person myself, I do enjoy Rafael Nadal.
You can read minds?
Yes.
Should I give my speech first? Or should we go a couple leftover questions?
I'm going to get the podium month ready. Of May. You decide when you want to.
I'm going to go get the podium ready.
You want me to help you with the
podium? I got it. I'm going to get it ready. I think we may have a few mailbag questions that we didn't answer. If you want.
We do. Oh, we do have mailbag questions.
Get this podium all nice and set. There it is. All right.
I better be impressed.
Tony, what you got? Oh, you're going to be impressed.
You want questions, or are you giving your speech?
I'll give the speech first.
Okay.
Let's do the speech. How about that ride in? The Wolfpack. First off, want to thank my fiance, Reed, for letting me do this job and also not being mean to me. I'd also like to thank my animals for the exact same thing. Miss Trudy, thank you as well. I want to start out by saying life is about obstacles. We all know that. And sometimes you have to go American Ninja Warrior, which I did. Was it the best month I've ever had? No. But great teams win in multiple ways. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You can bet your bottom dollar, Alice. If it was a sprint, call me Usain Bolt. I'd like to also congratulate Blaine and David on trying extra hard. Proud of you guys. It's all love.
I didn't try.
You tried hard.
I'll let you win.
You tried really hard. And I want to really make sure everybody understands that, like Teddy Roosevelt said, it's about the man in the arena. I was going to read that speech, but now I've decided not to. I want to close by saying that I may have been the last to win the month, but I plan on being the first to go, as the theologian Drizzy Drake Ryder would say, back to back.
Hey.
Good for you, man.
Well done,
you
sir.
won the belt.
Well
Okay, I don't
done.
want your backhanded compliments that I can just feel are backhanded.
Can't talk.
Again, listen, I'm glad it happened. All of us
to compliment you on winning the month, and it's just why is it?
No, I've known you your whole life. That was condescending, I can tell. Again, was it the greatest month ever? No. But you got to be able to win them multiple ways. Sometimes you got to win a defensive slugfest. Sometimes you got to win an NBA game 92-89.
You made it ugly, you made it scrappy, and you finished at the end when it counted. 2-0 last night, you finished when it counted.
Avalanche, I know I didn't pick you guys as my team, but that's love right there. And y'all came through for the kid early.
Doing some things a little bit different.
Yes, which we'll explain tomorrow. We've got way 2 to calculate the standings that includes units that we've come up with our own brain, so I think it's going to be pretty good. So,
but liquid paper on a B.
And it died. You want to go questions?
Let's ask some questions here.
Let's ask some questions.
Our boy Dalton. Boy Dalton. I love the appreciation for Nebraska football tradition on the show, except for Blaine, of course.
Hater.
Got a college football question. How do you guys feel about rooting for a team in your conference if they have already beaten your team? Okay, remember we talked about this a little bit the other day. So if Alabama beats Auburn, Auburn's out of contention. Alabama goes on to play Notre Dame in the championship.
Out of contention.
Are you rooting? Yeah, Auburn's out of contention. No. Are you pulling for the team that beat your team because it makes your team look better?
We've got to. There's a big difference. So Alabama is Auburn's biggest rival. I think that's a lot different if we're talking about Alabama being in contention for the national championship or somebody like LSU that may not be as big of a rival. For me, if it's a rival, no, I'm not cheering for you. I'm sorry. That's just how it goes. I'm not cheering for you. But if it's not a rival in the conference, let's go. I'm cheering for you. Let's represent.
Conference allegiance in, say, the playoff or in the March Madness NCAA.
Every team but Alabama I'd root for. Every team but Alabama outside the SEC I would root for.
You want to talk about pain? Let's talk about pain for a second.
Talk about it, Blaine.
Pure pain. You want to know what's tough from an Auburn fan?
Waking up.
Turn on that TV. You see Bama and Georgia playing for the national championship. You know how much I hated watching that game? But I wish the game would just stop and no one won.
Tie.
I can't cheer for Auburn. I mean, for Alabama. Barely cheer for Auburn most of the time. For Alabama, Georgia. Hard for me to cheer for LSU.
But there's a huge difference between Bama and LSU.
If it comes to, like, the playoff stuff, like championships, no, I don't want them to win. I don't want them winning. Bowl games? For sure. Rose Bowl, congrats. That's cool. But championships? No, lose.
It's hard enough to pull for, say, the Buckeyes, even when them winning would help my team. It's impossible.
That's the real question.
For Ohio
it's
State?
Impossible.
David, are you going for Ohio State if they beat Michigan and they're playing some of the national championship?
So give me the scenario.
So
Does
Ohio
it help
State,
Michigan?
No, Michigan's out. So if Ohio State beats Michigan, then Ohio State's playing in the Natty against, I don't know, LSU. Are you rooting for Ohio State?
Like it's hard.
You're not doing.
It's hard to do that.
It's hard to do
that. It's really hard to do that. I might have to say go Tigers.
Yeah, there it is.
You sounded more southern than Brian Kelly did. Blaine, what do we got from the Booster Club?
Ooh, you're throwing those quick on me.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
Blaine, what we got in the Booster Club?
Keep your head in a swivel, kid. I'm trying to make everybody.
I have two eyes. I need to learn to look.
Yeah.
Both ways. All right, Hudson Little has been asked this question like 7 times, so I'm gonna ask it. It's a complete switch up here. Let's talk MLB.
Okay.
All right. Who are the top 5 hitters as it disappears? Who are the top 5 hitters right now in the major league?
Man, that's tough. Somewhat. Give me Vlad Guerrero Jr. Because again, that guy, him and his father have so much range on the plate. It's ridiculous. I'm going to pick Mike Trout because I'm going to pick Mike Trout. Give me, and I tell you what, the Clay Holmes kid from the Yankees is absolutely destroying the ball. Give me him right now. Give me Austin Riley as well, who hit one the other day that broke the space-time continuum against the Diamondbacks. And then give me, okay, I mean, give me Aaron Judge.
Thank you.
Again,
okay. I was waiting.
Aaron Judge can sneeze and the ball goes over the fence.
Oh, he's hitting home runs in other ballparks.
He's a human dinosaur. He's huge.
Yeah.
He looks like the guy from Prometheus.
He's Reptar.
Yes.
So Austin Riley was on that list?
Dude, Austin Riley?
Top 5 hitter in the league right now?
Guys, I had to throw a Brave on there. Y'all know that. Let's be honest.
I like it.
Let's be
I like you put it at 4 too. You know where you can still talk about Aaron Judge at 5.
That's exactly
Very
right.
smart.
Thank
Hey, I got one more question here from Ryan. He said, "Thanks so much for reading my question on the show." That must have been a previous question.
Yep, I'm hoping.
Unless he's telepathic here.
Professor X, is that you?
His question is, what is your top sports memory that you have either witnessed in person or on television?
Kick 6. Kick
It would
6.
be the kick
Well,
6.
he said
Well, I
top,
wanna go
he said
somewhere-
top 3. But
Top 3, okay. I'll say kick 6.
I would say the Michael Dyer run versus Oregon in the national.
That was wild. I would say kick 6. I would say, I'll tell you what, I'll give you one that y'all wouldn't think I would say. The Tyrone pro throw catch, I think it was against Southern Miss, going back in the day for Alabama.
Over the back?
Yeah.
Over the back.
And I still
that
think
was
it was
unbelievable.
Stephon Diggs versus the Saints.
That,
He was at the
that's
Vikings.
nuts. And then I was going to say
With
Kyler
Saints
Murray.
fans.
I was going to say Kyler Murray to D-Hop on that Hail Mary was
yeah.
an incredible
I was
play.
part of the crowd that was in Atlanta following Tiger up 18 on
See,
the
that-
FedEx
yeah.
Championship. That was the most incredible thing that I've ever been a part of.
That would be absolutely 100%.
That was unreal. Also, Michigan playing Ohio last fall was cool.
Yeah, I guarantee that was cool. But no, it's a good question. I like that.
Jack Doe 1196 says this is his top 5: Vlad Jr., Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, and Austin Riley, and Rutschman from the Orioles.
Oh, you talking about Bradley, the catcher, or Adley Rushman? That kid is a monster.
He had 4 out of 5 on your list, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you.
Mine
You keep up with that Major League Baseball. As I go over to the board of community justice.
New month, fellas.
Friendship.
New month.
New month, new us, but same us.
Same, but different.
Last month was full of what? Forgiveness, but a
It's
lot of
like-
what? Remembrance.
It's like, hey,
And regret.
We want you to be yourself, but like a better version.
Yeah, be yourself,
be
but
you,
different.
but better.
Yeah, be
Get
you,
on the
but
scale.
different.
I need to be better.
Get on the scale.
Keep doing
Get off
what
the
you're
scale.
different, but
Get
mix
off
it
the
up a little
scale.
bit. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
exactly.
Here's what I got tonight. Made a big decision this morning. Y'all know I think the Lightning are going to win it. Big on Stamkos, Kucherov, the whole group. But tonight in New York, Zibanejad, Panarin. Give me the Rangers money line plus 114.
That just sounds like stuff you'd order at Panera Bread.
I know, it
Can I
does.
get the Panarin, please?
Yeah, I'm going to go Rangers money line plus 114. Then give me the Rangers over 2.5 goals
that.
at minus 117. I know Vasilevsky's really nice. Igor on the other side's a brick wall. But Vasilevsky's been really nice. I like the Rangers at home, riding a lot of momentum off the big win, the dominating win against the Canes on the road. They're believing. Their average age is 27, which means they're old enough to be good, but young enough to be dumb enough to think they're going to have a shot to win. So I got them game 1 at home. I like the Lightning in the series. Come on, Rangers. I've never asked New York for anything. Anything ever. It's the only time. David.
All right, new month, and I'm feeling skinny, Tony.
Same
Taking
page.
You skinny Tony.
I'm taking the same pick as yesterday. White Sox, Blue Jays, first inning under at a half run, minus 115. Didn't hit yesterday. I think it's going to hit today.
New month.
It's in the
We'll see
cards.
that.
It's in the cards.
Fabrice
And then,
Brothers.
New
I'm going to be
friend.
bet buds with my boy Blaine here. Let's go Lightning Rangers under 6.5 goals going off at, what was the line on that again?
198.
198.
Okay, well, that's a touch high, but under the cap. So Lightning Rangers under 6.5. Both teams playing incredible defense. Shesterkin in goal. I love it. Let's score 5.
You know, I'm going to take this opportunity to congratulations to you.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Congrats,
I'm
man.
glad you got one. I'm glad we all 3 have one. First 3 months, it shows the diversity and the talent of the show.
And you've been tracking our bets. That wasn't
one
made up.
person I really want to make sure gets a lot of kudos
Baby Cone.
for the last month, and that's Baby Cone.
For sure.
Baby Cone, you absolutely balled last month. And right now, I might trail you. You know, I'm deciding I might trail you. Maybe we should start giving you more picks. But this is what I'm going to take. I'm going to take, first of all, I'm going to take the Yankees first 5 versus the Angels at home, believe,
Nestor?
on the mound.
Nestor Cortez on the mound?
He's
The
on
bird.
the mound, so I'm taking, I believe they're minus 188.
Yep.
And then I'm going to also go with the Rangers Lightning under 6.5. I saw this line, and then immediately I was.
Was that an alternate line?
It
Or
was
was
an
that-
alternate line. It was an alternate line. Can't believe it was under 200, minus 198. So it was there. But, you know, I want to start the month off, right, just hitting bets. Right, I'm not going to go too much into the units right now. I feel like units can be more adjusted once you get to the middle, the later half of a month. Right now, I just want to win bet and make sure my numbers are where they need to be.
See, I'm going to go. I'm going the opposite. I'm going the Randy Johnson approach.
I just don't want to go out on the ledge too early and put myself
look,
in
again.
a hole.
Look, tomato, potato, Tomato. Baby Cone is going to take Zibanejad over 2.5 shots at -120. I love the bet. I never thought an 8-month-old could make such good bets, but apparently he can. Zibanejad. Blaine Booster Club. What are they screaming about now?
Kurt Comment says Lightning are sweeping the Rangers.
Don't say that. At least let the Rangers win game 1.
You know what? After what they did to the Canes and getting past
at home,
the Penguins down 3-1, like, man, what can the Rangers not do?
They're hot.
Young, just be yourself says no one is stopping Tampa.
Okay. I'm saying they're going to lose a game, not that they're going to win a game, not win the series. Okay, I got the Lightning winning the Stanley Cup. Everybody just relax.
Jimbo Eagle says Jonathan Taylor would be likely the number 1 overall pick in fantasy football this year. What would be our number 1 pick in fantasy?
Jonathan Taylor?
From the run back from the Colts.
Taking a running back with the number 1 pick? I'm not doing that.
Not bad.
Who are you taking then?
It's not a bad pick.
Why are you not taking Jonathan Taylor number 1?
Because I'm taking the best receiver. There's other backs I can get. I'll get Christian McCaffrey when nobody gets him, even though they don't believe in his health. What did he ask me about Jonathan Taylor? What did he say? He said, who would I take, number 1?
First, who would you take first in fantasy? If you had the first pick in fantasy, who would you take? Everybody's on the board.
First pick.
Everybody's on the board.
Do you always go wide receiver first?
I like going wide receiver, and then I like going tight end, then I like going running back. So give me, you know what? I got one for you. I'm going to go wide receiver. Give me Jamar, chase me to the end zone.
Interesting. Not Cooper Kupp.
No, I don't think you go wrong with Cooper either. He'd be in my top 3 that I'd pick.
Yeah, I think I might take Jonathan Taylor first, or maybe Derrick Henry.
I am definitely taking, especially if it's a PPR league, I'm taking Jonathan Taylor.
I just wonder.
Do you guys go PPR full point, half point?
I'm cool with either half or full.
Okay.
Regardless. But I do need PPR. It has to be PPR.
Have y'all done the leagues where you pick defensive players too? The full.
God, I just don't. I don't have the time to invest in that.
It's intense.
I just don't. But what do we got YouTube branch?
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and get on this poll. All right, let's go and get on this poll.
Oh, you put out a poll, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, who will win the Natty first? Okay. Brian Kelly, Lincoln Riley, Mario Cristobal.
I'm going to say they said Lincoln Riley, 61%.
I'll just go Brian Kelly.
It is. Drum roll. Lincoln Riley.
Yes.
33%.
You're the worst.
But it was
Mario Cristobal, 29%.
You're the worst.
Brian Kelly, 38%.
You got it. Yeah.
But did I? Wait, what was
Yeah, Brian Kelly was 38%. First one was what, 33?
Lincoln was 33.
33, okay.
I disagree. I disagree, but again, that's
even though I
what producer
protest
comes
your
for.
tactics, okay.
Anything
but
else?
I still,
Don't protest the tactics.
Anything else before I read these?
Feels good to start
Matthew
the month
Roberts
right.
says Celtics have faced teams with 1, maybe 2 scores this playoff, but they haven't faced a team that scores like the Warriors do. They have strength in numbers.
Again, I don't think it's an illogical argument. I don't think it's a bad argument. I'm just going with the Celtics because I think they're going to bully them a little bit. That's just the way I live my life. So, but Booster Club bets. Guys, we got 4 new ones.
Hey,
including a Nebraska fan. Here's what we got. Private Chonky is 5-0. Not keeping that private. He wants the Yankees money line -180. Bracket Dom is 4-0. He came in the Booster Club hot. He wants Scotland to qualify for the next round, going off at -158. I love the diversity in these bets. Williams DG's 3-0. Wants Baltimore money line, the O's money line. So going against you, Blaine, a little bit there. Joey Bashan, 26. 2-0. Wants Lightning Rangers under 5.5. That's -117. Tyson's right hooks also 1-0. Lightning money line -130. Safe burner Lightning money line -130. Husker Hangover, welcome to the party, my friend. He wants a Lightning money line. Win 2144 is new, and he also wants the Lightning money line. So we got 4 Lightning money lines there in a row. Feeling dangerous.
You got to feel good about the Rangers. You see all that.
Well, I don't know. We're going to find out. These guys are new. We'll see how they do. Bucky Badger Bets is also new. Brewers to beat the Cubs. And Hunter D. Lucas, also new. Rangers Lightning under 5.5. I do want to give a shout out to Buckhorn Dave, who is 1-0, not 0-0, as I said yesterday. So welcome to it. So there's also a joke on here, which is one of our production assistants always puts a joke on here.
Dad joke?
Dad joke. What is the most frightening word in nuclear physics?
Oops.
Yep, that's it. You're looking at it. You saw it. It's oops. You got it. Congrats.
Saw it on what?
You not have the paper? Oops is the term, and that's
no way. I just got that right. I tell you what, guys. I've been hot on this trivia. I mean,
it smells like collusion.
You can ask anybody. I did not know that at all. I've been trying to get a riddle advocate here for 8 hours today, and I couldn't get. It's locked down. It's basically a bank.
That's true. But again, Joe that riddle wasn't getting out.
It wasn't. So I had no idea about that.
That's exactly right.
I can't believe that was the answer.
All right, parting thoughts.
Genius. I think
good?
I'm ahead of my time.
See, and that's the kind of stuff we have to deal with.
I think I'm like.
What do you mean by
I'm
that?
slowly coming into like the realization that I might be the smartest man alive.
You know, I'm going to put out a poll tomorrow.
That's fine.
I'm going to put out a
I might be the
tomorrow.
smart.
Do you
when
wanna
it comes
know
to
what-
answering dad jokes? That I might be the smartest man alive.
Do you want to know what the beginning of mental illness looks like?
Something like, is it that right there?
Are we
Am
gonna
I
have to,
crazy or am I a genius?
Are we gonna have to end up doing the Shutter Island experiment on Blaine, where we
Oh,
just
my
convince him
goodness.
he's like a cop, and like
We love you,
everything?
though.
Yeah, we do love you.
Well, I love both
love
of
you
you
in your
guys
own
too.
way.
And I support both you guys, but hopefully you'll get to my level one day.
You know what? We'll end it on that. Everybody at home knows that that's absolute baloney. But we appreciate you guys. Make sure you're subscribed on all platforms, social media as well. DailyWire.com. Also, even if you're a DailyWire.com member, go subscribe on YouTube. We're going to keep growing like a weed. We appreciate you guys. And like the Warriors' chance to beat the Celtics in the NBA Finals, till tomorrow, we're gone.